Hello everyone, my creative students. It's me again, Crepak. And today begins our first practical lesson on model creation. The topic and subject of our lesson is the creation of a 3D sword model. We will be making this sword according to references, so you can see them on your screen right now. And also, right now you will see the final result of our work together. By learning to create a sword like this, you'll be able to create most other weapons. But first, I must tell you about the course structure. The thing is, the practical part is allocated to two separate modules. One module will cover the creation of the model itself, and the second module will cover the texturing of the same model. This means that after watching this video, you need to go to the next module and watch how we textured this sword. If you enjoy this lesson and want to learn how to texture this sword, check out our full course on the website. And for more free Blockbench guides, join our Discord server. Well, let's get started. So, we will create this sword in Java block item format. We'll choose Java specifically because it has a clear interface with a preview of the model itself. While I'm preparing the references, I'll briefly tell you the essence of the weapon itself. This sword is a weapon for certain Dark Knights, whose overall color palette is quite dark with a mix of red. In general, typical villainous villains. Accordingly, their sword is also villainous and is a kind of hybrid between a sword and a chainsaw, or it's just a spiky sword. Also, I wanted to warn you, I will perform all actions using my own custom hotkeys. But don't worry, I will explain what I am doing. So let's start creating our sword with the handle. Since the sword is apparently one-handed, we'll make it so that it fits roughly into exactly one hand. The player's hand is 4x4 pixels, so we'll make the sword about 7 pixels high. I will also rotate our handle and make it in the shape of a rhombus, as I consider this shape quite attractive. We rotate our handle by 45 degrees. Next, let's make the tip of the handle. But since it is invisible, we'll come up with something of our own. Since the sword itself is a combination of 3 metals, namely red, black, and white, we will make the handle in a roughly similar style. We will create one rhombus as a second layer using the inflation option. This rhombus will serve as the red metal. We'll make a second rhombus slightly lower, but we'll make it as the first layer, that is, without inflation, but at the same time make it slightly larger. The second rhombus will potentially be the black metal. Due to the characteristic of the handle structure, we will have to increase the length of our rhombuses a little bit. Our next step will be deleting some sides of the handle. These sides will potentially not be visible to the player, so let's not burden the texture and just delete these sides. Next, on the references, we can see a skull on the guard. Let's make a small blank for it. We'll put the blank aside for now, we'll need it a bit later, and I'll talk about it later too. The next step is making the guard itself and also increasing its size a bit, because we have a diamond-shaped handle. And of course, let's center our handle so it looks proportional. Next, on the reference, you can see a diamond-shaped part on the guard that looks as if it's double. We will embody something similar in our model. To start, let's copy the guard itself. We'll make the second piece slightly smaller so the guard looks double. And the rhombus-shaped part is made extremely simply. First, copy our guard and make it square. We will rotate this square, and all that's left is to attach it to the guard. For this, we use the Vertex Snap tool. With our first action, we move the corner of this rhombus to the guard, and with the second action, we switch the mode to scale and resize our rhombus to the level of the guard. Thus, our rhombus takes on exactly the same shapes as the guard itself. We have a Z-fighting effect arising, so we will reduce this part of the guard slightly. This action is done immediately while holding down several keys. That is Alt for proportional reduction, and Control to reduce by 0.1. Thus, we reduce by 0.1 on each side. Next, let's return to our blank and the skull idea. Let's install and adjust our skull. So the idea of the skull is that this plate is its face part, and it has exactly this size because we will insert 2 eyes. We can make these eyes as separate parts or make them in the form of a texture. I suggest making them in the form of a texture, that way the eyes will be placed proportionally. Next, we will duplicate our plate and make it slightly lower. Here, we will make a blank for the teeth. Now let's copy the plate again and make a blank for the eyebrows. we will make the eyebrows as separate elements. They will be separate elements because that way we can easily make them frown. Let's get rid of Z-fighting and place the eyebrow approximately in the place where it should be. We won't adjust it for now, as we'll do that at the texturing stage. At the texturing stage, we will also duplicate the eyebrow in a similar way, so that the textures are copied too. We will do exactly the same with the skull, duplicate it, and simply move it via the transform functions. Our next step will be creating small axes like this, which are located on the guard. Since the axes are visually quite thin, we'll make them in the form of a 2D texture. We won't invent anything special with them for now, just make a place for their creation. Still, do not forget to work with our model and remove unnecessary faces. Now finally, let's proceed to the sword blade itself. Looking at the blade, we can see that the sword isn't that thin, so we'll make it a bit thick, namely 1 pixel thick. Now we will make a sharp end, and we'll do it using exactly the same principle as we did the guard. Still, don't forget to remove Z-fighting too. In my opinion, it turned out very beautiful and sword-like. And one of our final actions is creating the spikes themselves. We will also create them using 3D cubes. As an option, one could make these spikes via 2D, but it's a matter of taste here. I will make the spikes exactly like rhombuses. We will definitely make sure that the rhombuses are identical on all sides, and I will make these rhombuses 3 by 3 so that their middle is slightly dark to create an effect of some darkening. We will duplicate the rhombuses and place them roughly proportionally. I decided to duplicate the rhombuses because I believe they will have a different texture. Otherwise, I would have just made one rhombus and duplicated it. Also, I remind you that we will duplicate the entire left side of the sword to the right later on. And I still remind you, don't forget to delete unused faces. And as the cherry on top, let's combine all our cubes into a single group for convenience. Well, this is the kind of sword we ended up with at the modeling stage. Agree, it doesn't look all that presentable, but believe me, it will transform very significantly at the texturing stage. Ready to finish this sword and make it look awesome? Get the full sword texturing video as part of our course on the website. You can find link in the description. Create more creative stuff. With you was, as always, me, Crepak, and all creepy bye.